Noah, he ate that punch really well. Like,
He did.
I will give him that. Like, Ross hit him hard. I
He
thought,
did.
anyways. I've never been hit, but Ross, it sounded hard, and it didn't make him flinch at all. He was coming.
All right, episode 5, the High Limit Room. We are previewing the Wayne County race on May the 16th, and have a lot to talk about this week with Eldora and a few other races that happened this past weekend. We got another victory toast to do for Kyle, all-star victory number 28, and another one at Atomic. He's perfect at Atomic now. 2 starts, 2 wins. Well, where's your mark? I thought JP was supposed to get you one.
At the restaurant.
Oh, boy. Well, cheers anyways.
Cheers. And a personal assistant to go get me a drink.
Well, it should have been 2 victory toasts anyways, but your buddy crashed you on Sunday. So what do you think about all that?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I know Brad's probably got a pretty nice opinion. So we'll let Brad go first.
What'd you think?
No, we'll let Brad go first. I want to hear what Brad's thoughts are.
Well, I wasn't in the driver's seat, so my analysis is from watching TV. So I don't know if I'm as educated as you, and I really haven't talked to you about it. I think he was a good bit faster. Yeah, I think Denny was a good bit faster. I'll give him that. I would have liked to see him pass you clean. I understood how aggressive he was, on the white flag. Packing air. I think it made him tight. I think it made you tight. I think then if he doesn't crash you right there, I think you clear him and he loses the race. So I think he was extra aggressive and pretty much looked like he kind of crashed you on the straightaway to me. So I think, I wasn't like the most angry I've ever been, but I thought, it was different than he talks about how he races. So, but that doesn't really surprise me with Denny.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was definitely way faster. I honestly thought he was going to pass me like 12 to go. So for me to make it to that far and have a shot to win, I was pretty happy. But yeah, no, it was just like for my seat, obviously I get loose. I don't think these cars, like you don't really pack air on somebody and get them loose like how when you were running Xfinity and stuff or Nationwide, you could run in on somebody and pack air and get them loose. I don't really feel like these cars are that way, but I was just so loose that I got really loose and slid to the wall, and he got to my inside. And, I'm just trying then to get as close as I can to the wall to pack my own air against it to get grip. And it all happened fast, but I was like, I had to run back by him, and I knew he was kind of side drafting me. And then all of a sudden it was just like, boom, turn right. Wow. And but I felt like he was like touching me. I mean, I feel like what the TV shows is kind of what I felt like. I was pinned against the wall as high as I could be, trying to get away from his side draft. And then he was pinned against me as tight as he could be, trying to stall me. And with these cars too, I mean, it's you kind of do have to like touch people to side draft. So, yeah, I mean, it's just aggressive. Obviously, I would have loved to have gotten to 3 and 4. I think he would have been as close to me into 3 as he was the whole last run. So I still think he would have been able to maybe beat me. So that was kind of a bummer. I just wish I wouldn't say I'm like mad at him. I just wish I would have had a shot, through 3 and 4 where I didn't get that shot. So
where would you have ran in 3 and 4 there? I was kind of curious if you did clear him and like he was right on your rear bumper, like would you have like kind of driven low there to like protect it, or would you have still entered high just because you were so loose?
Yeah, I probably would have entered high, like I had basically the same line I was running. Because even if he somehow was still to my inside, like these cars are not like what the cars use race. When somebody's on your door, it like gets you really loose underneath the car underneath, really loose. These are not like that. So I knew I wouldn't be able to like enter on his door. So I was just going to try and go in and run the same line as I had been and try and do it fast enough to where he couldn't like get to my door on exit. But I never really got that opportunity. So that was a bummer. I mean, I'm not like mad at him. I don't think there's a reason to be mad at him. We were racing aggressively on the last lap and it's for a win, and he was way faster than me. Yeah. I guess just the only thing that I guess I get frustrated with is on his deal, his podcast. He says I race a certain way, but I've never had to reach out to him to apologize about anything. I've wrecked off his front bumper more than a few times now. So that's just the frustrating part, I guess, but and then nothing he's ever done is intentional. He's never wrecked me intentionally. So, I feel like I'm good about that. Like I can understand when racing things happen. The only times I really ever get mad in a stock car or in racing in general is when I feel like something was done to me intentionally. Where never anything that he's done to me is where I've crashed or something has been intentional, but it's happened a few times. But so, it's just part of it, I guess.
Are those situations weirder or more difficult to handle when it's somebody who like you have a relationship with off the track, but more so than somebody else? Like, does it change the dynamic of that at all?
Between me and Denny, no, I don't think so. I think what's awkward for me is that everybody expects me to be mad at him and like I should no longer be friends with the guy because he got into me. So that's what's just awkward for me. I think I do a good job of separating racing from friendship stuff. And I think that's how it should be. But I mean, like I'm walking down pit road and there's multiple race fans like, that's why you need to not be friends with him. Or, even guys on my team, like not even from yesterday, but other races, like that's why you don't have friends in racing or stuff like that. That's where it's awkward for me. Cause I mean, that's not fair. Like that's not fair to either of us, I don't think.
But you also got to break it down like you did. And it's like, he was way faster. So like if the car was faster and you stayed ahead of him, he would have never had a chance. So there's, I always look back at like, if you don't really solve the problem and look at the actual reason why it happened, which is, you guys should be thinking about how your car could have been faster the last 10 laps, which I'm sure Cliff Daniels is. And I think that's what good racers do. And
even with the same car that I had, like, I still think yes, he was close enough to me, but I think if I enter a car with lower, he's in a part of the track that's got less banking. He can roll in or he has to roll in with less speed. I'm air blocking him a little bit more. I think I can hold it. I don't think he gets to my inside if I enter just a little lower into one. So yeah, I mean, I kind of more look at it like, what could I have done? Always in any situation, anytime I get wrecked, like, what could I have done to not be in that situation? So, and I think that's what good race car drivers have to do. And I would say any young kid coming up, like, look at what you did. The result's the result, but what could you have done 30 laps ago to not have yourself in that position?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that 110%. Like he was all over you. So, I mean, you knew it was coming.
He was. I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm surprised I held him off as long as I did. And he was, I feel like nice to me up until that point. I don't, not that even he was even mean to me in that point either, but it's just hard racing, I think. And, and all
so
that,
when he's touching you off too, like when he's like right at your left rear, you're actually just really loose right there. That's why you can't get to the throttle.
No, I mean, I was like, you look at my data, like I got loose into the center and then I just committed. I committed to throttle, and that's why I had the big run by. And then with these cars, like with the old style car, you had to be close to side draft, but like this one, man, if you can like touch them, it just kills their run. So that's what he was trying to do. I think he could tell that I was about to clear him. And honestly, I was so focused on like my mark on where I'm looking at the wall that I wasn't like even paying attention to my run back by him. But I could feel him. I could feel him on me. That's why my post race was like, I hadn't even seen or the replay, but I was like, man, it felt like he was just touching me. And he just barely got my quarter panel there and like turned me left and then shot me right real quick. So
did you feel the wall? Did you feel the wall with your right front? Because like on video, it looks like you're actually in the wall.
Yeah, I think I didn't really feel with the right front. I more felt it with like the right rear, which wasn't slowing me down at that point. So
wow.
And like I said, I was just trying to get away, like away from him as much as I could. Was all, but it was just tight. It was tight racing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, two guys who were mad at each other showed it when they were interviewing you about this, right? With Noah and Ross. Your interview was hysterical. And it's hard to take Noah seriously with maybe the goofiest haircut to ever be shown on national television. But speaking of fights you were bystanders in, Brad, we've got more Little Cat video from Ovals '07 here. When so I know I don't think you've seen this actual video that we're going to play, but I'm sure you have seen this. Obviously, you lived it. But this fight on the front stretch between
Brad loves a Cowboy, so
modern day Cowboy and Sammy. You're there in the background pulling guys out of it. What do you remember from that?
Honestly, what I remember
I can put it in the message right now.
I remember Sammy trying to poke Darren Clayton's eyes out. That's what I remember probably the most. It's like they were on the ground, and like Darren Clayton was a friend, but I was kind of part of the Mopar group, and I was just kind of like there, and it was wild. I remember that, and I just remember thinking Sammy's crazy.
Let's get it on!
Like, the guy was just literally trying to poke Darren Clayton's eyes out. Like, I could see it, so that was just what I remember the most about it. And it was just one of those scuffles. And, of course I don't mind a little pushing and shoving. I think those are always, it's not, I mean, I don't like anybody to get hurt, but I like passion and emotion. It doesn't bother me, when people show it.
I think it's Shane Cottle in the red suit, and then you and Bernie, Brad, at the end, they're I think pulling Clayton out. So there was some familiar faces down there, but the guy on the PA going, "Let's get it on," is the funniest part of the entire video.
Let's get it on.
Is that Willie? Oh, look at Davy Jones. Cigarette never leaves his mouth.
Yeah, no, Willie's Brad. Not there. I know that.
Yeah, there you are. Where's Sammy at this? Oh, because Sammy was a race. He's just in regular clothes.
Yeah, he's just in regular clothes.
Let's get it on. Which one's Sammy? Is he wearing a crew shirt or is he?
Damn ambulance got in the way.
Sammy's in the black.
Oh, I see Sammy.
Puts his foot up. Yeah, puts his foot up and tries to kick Darren.
That was nuts.
Gosh.
And then Cottle's in the red suit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the sport's built upon. All this little drama. You gotta have a little drama sometimes. I don't think it's bad. I thought Ross's punch was.
Dude, I would never.
Decent.
I was gonna say I've never been in a fight, never been close to being in a fight. Don't want to ever be in a fight, but like in that situation that Ross and Noah were in, Ross was like, I mean, he was perfect. Like grabbed Noah's throwing hand, had him, and then got him. Like that.
He had to have been expecting it at some point, right? He had to have prepared a little bit.
What are we doing grabbing? I mean, you grabbing me like we're like, you basically know the next phase is swinging. So, but the only thing that made me laugh was like he swings, hits him pretty good, and then in typical Ross, oh no, we're not fighting. It's like,
I think Ross is smart. I think he understood. He's like, man, I'm good now. The security's got him.
And that's the only other thing that bothered me. It's like was holding Noah back so hard that like I really thought he deserved a chance to get him back.
Man, Noah, he ate that punch really well. Like
he did.
I will give him that. Like Ross hit him hard. I thought,
he did.
Anyways, I've never been hit, but Ross, it sounded hard and. It didn't make him flinch at all. He was coming. So, yeah. I think too, like, Noah's crazy. Like, it's not done, I don't think. Yeah. Like, he's just not going to fight him at the racetrack. Like, he'll find Ross wherever. So, but I will say, I think, and I've told a lot of people this, like, Ross is like my size, but I think he is so scrappy. He just looks scrappy. So I think I think Ross could beat up most people in the garage, honestly.
It certainly was a good punch. Like it didn't look like he never, swung his fist before. Yeah. So it looked good. He did a good job there. I agree. He had him pulled tight. There was nowhere for Noah to go. So
he did good. I think Noah's a good fighter probably too though. So they're both not afraid, I don't think.
Yeah. No. Well,
I'm sure the last time we see him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's probably not
Stay tuned.
It's probably not the last fight Ross is going to be in. So.
Yeah, Noah's for sure. Noah loves fighting. He's fun.
Yeah. Well,
he's a good personality.
Ross has someone mad at him, it seems like every race. So, love him or hate him.
I mean, obviously, like I was upset with him 2 weeks ago, but I kind of love it. Like I think Ross is great. I mean, he's like, I mean, at this point, like I think he is sort of like owning it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
absolutely.
I'm this guy, and
And
I think he's got the potential to be more popular than Chase Elliott. So I think it's awesome. Like
you
I think
need
as Brad likes to
it.
say, he's moving the needle.
Yep. And you need a guy like that in the sport. There's
Yeah.
no reason we can't all be vanilla. You got to have somebody that is just, that goes against the grain a little bit, that causes a little controversy, and it seems like he's fine with it. And I
Hmm.
think he's great for the sport. I think having all the different personalities is great, and he's definitely owning it, and it seems like he does not give a shit
Yeah,
about
and
it
he's
at all.
fast. I'll say, and he's fast as shit too. So that always
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
All
For
right,
sure.
back to Eldora. Brad, just real quick. I know you had a fourth and an eighth.
I got disqualified for the first time in my life.
Okay, well, we can go straight there. I was gonna at least let Brad talk about his day before we get into
Okay.
all the shit you had going on.
No, go
Well,
ahead, Brad.
anytime I beat Kyle, I'm happy. So it was.
Yeah, well, you did.
I don't care how we got there. I honestly I was a little disappointed. I mean, we go to Eldora. Obviously, you just can't help but think about the million, which is coming up. So literally every move that we make seems like a bigger deal. Every time you're going on the track, you're trying to learn and get better for the when we come back in July for $1 million to win and for the Kings Royal. Those are obviously what are on our radar. So I thought I had a really good night. Qualified good, had really good speed. Heat race felt really good. Obviously, that was where Kyle got in the crash, and then in the A, I felt like we just tried a little bit of something, but I wasn't way off. I mean, I felt like I could, I was very competitive, and it was a very tricky technical track, and I feel like we're close. Second night, tried what we thought would fix the first night, and didn't work. So we'll go back and regroup. But we feel like we had a solid enough weekend that we have a great starting spot. When we go back for the $1 million win race.
Yeah, and kind of the last time for a lot of the big names before the million, obviously at Eldora, there's an Ohio Sprint Speed Week race with the All Stars there in June, but we'll miss some of the bigger names at that one, and they'll be back in July. All right, Kyle. So yeah, you had a lot going on Friday night, I guess. Let's start with the heat race crash with Zeb, and just the actual crash. We can talk about the penalty and stuff in a sec, but obviously, I'm sure you didn't expect him to just keep coming up the track kind of like he did, but what was your take on the crash there and what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do a great job on the start. I would say, I mean, turn one and two, I tried to just hit some moisture on the bottom because it was really grippy in qualifying, so I thought it might still be grippy for the heat, but I spun and then I got racing with Zeb, and then Carson was there. And then they got racing, and I could tell that they were both going to go to the bottom of the track in one and two. So I tried to just get momentum built through one and two. And I could kind of, like, I was looking at Zeb, like, man, I think he's maybe going to try and come up here. And then I was already kind of committed. And then, he came across pretty quickly there the last little bit. And we made contact. And thankfully, I didn't go over. It was close, and the wing, I mean, I didn't know it in the moment, but the wing blew off and it could have been a big wreck. Obviously I could tell Zeb was getting ready to flip before I had gotten in front of him. And thankfully I think, he's going to be okay. I don't really know I don't really know his injury or if he is injured. But yeah, so I mean, I in the grand scheme of things, I think we both probably escaped that better than it could have been, the fastest part of the racetrack there into turn three. So, yeah, it was just a bummer, but just tight racing. I mean, you're trying to, every position is worth, 4 spots or whatever it is in a heat race for the main event. So we're just trying to all of us were trying to be aggressive and get the best finish possible. And we just made contact and ended up in some damaged stuff.
Yeah, and so then obviously, as you mentioned, they DQ you, right, for, I guess, rolling right to the work area or not stopping under red. Is that right? I mean, have you been, but there was other guys, right, that kept rolling like down to turn one. Like, is that accurate? There were still guys rolling. Do you know why they told you were done when other guys were still kind of rolling too?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Hess or anything. I don't know if anybody. I'm sure some people have, but I'm imagine like if I'm just trying to put myself like if I was to have a conversation with him, which I was, our rear end was knocked out of it anyways. We weren't going to get back on the track, so it did not matter at all. But I'm guessing his stance would have been, well, there probably was going to be safety crew coming onto the track from that exit, which I was going really slow, so I would have been able to avoid all that. So I mean, hey, I'm cool with the disqualification. I had my hands full until the center of 3 and 4. It's not like we touched into 3 and then I just coasted all the way around. Like I was still gathering my car up, and in the dead center of 3 and 4, and then just kind of eased down the banking to the work area, to see what sort of damage was there to see if we could fix it and get back out. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Kyle Larson fans, they're fiery and pissed off about it, but ultimately it did not matter. And sure, I would have been more mad if we didn't have that much damage, because I don't think anything that I did was dangerous. But a rule's a rule at the same point. So I know that going forward, and I think we all typically do a really good job of coming to a stop. The only thing I would say is I think you always just want to see consistency, and Mike Hess is the best race director I've ever had the chance of racing with, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not knocking him at anything like that. He's by far the best at his job. But you just want to see consistency, and not that I want to see anybody disqualified either. I don't think any of us want to see somebody get disqualified, but you just want to see the consistency. And I think sometimes it's questioned if outlaws and locals or whatever you want to call them are treated equally. And I don't know if that's always the case, but again, the outlaws do the best job. Mike Hess does the best job at race directing, and I guess I made a mistake that I wasn't really aware that I was making at the time.
Yeah, I'll just comment a little bit on it. I will say, like, just racing with Mike a lot through the years, that's one thing he is pretty like aggressive on, is like the red and cars trying to like drive to the work area. He typically screams like stop. I think yours happened quick, so I get both sides.
I think
of it.
had I gotten to, if I was to stop when I could have stopped, I would have been like, right in the way.
Exactly. That's kind of what I thought too. I think, yeah, obviously, you had a lot of damage, so it ended up being kind of a mute point. But yeah, I do think, I mean, safety is a big thing. So yeah, I think Mike would probably have a conversation. You guys would probably see eye to eye pretty well right after it. Probably not that big of a deal, really.
No, It's not.
Yeah, Mike's a racer. Eldora Speedway midget track record holder, right? So the guy, he gets it, right? He's not just an official, like he's done it.
It's like they were picking you on all weekend. Like you jumped the start of Atomic, then DQ'd, and he couldn't really get you. You couldn't really get it together.
I need to read the rule books. Apparently, I've been racing for a while. I guess I don't know. I need to finally pay attention to the rule books. I didn't know I was doing stuff wrong.
Yeah.
Well, now we know, I guess. Yeah. One more thing, just kind of previewing the
Don't
million.
Get mad at me, Brad, if I lock the brakes up at the next red and you run right over the top of me, because I'm just coming to a stop.
Yeah.
All in the rules.
If you jump a start at the high limit race, I'm definitely putting you back, though. I promise you
that. Yeah. Did I jump? I mean, was it even a jump?
Not in my opinion, but I think they have
a rule book. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Back to the million real quick. What do you guys see there? Who's the favorite? Who do you like? I mean, I think it's obviously hard to bet against Rico, right? He looked pretty damn good. Who else is on your radars as far as who's going to show back up in July and be good?
If I was an odds maker, I would definitely say that Rico would be the favorite. Seems like Ricky Warner has him really comfortable and really dialed. But I think there's a lot that's, goes into winning a big race. So he's going to have to overcome some adversity through a weekend. Donnie Schatz had a lot of speed, I felt like, and he knows he's been there. I think he knows what he's looking for. I think Kyle, if you look at his lap times for the last 10 laps of that first night, even though he didn't feel that great, he had a lot of speed. I think David Gravel and Logan Schuchart, and then probably down the list would be, um, myself and maybe a Macedo. And then, after that, it gets, I would start to say they're a little bit longer shots, but you never really know. Brett Marks shocked the world last year and wasn't great this last weekend. But it wouldn't surprise me if somebody, between now and then gets their car a lot more dialed and shows up the million, a little more dialed in. So that's what's great about sprint car racing right now is I don't think there's a clear favorite. I think there's a lot of guys that can get it done, and it makes it really fun for the fans because they don't know who's going to win.
You agree with that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would agree with the odds, for sure. I think that's what Vegas would probably have it at. If I was gambling, I would take, or no, I wouldn't call it gamble, but I wouldn't. I think if I was to pick between Rico and Donnie, I would take Donnie just because Donnie's just the type that, like, man, like when he wants to be the fastest car on the track, he can be the fastest car on the track. And I think that's what you saw a little bit this weekend, him running hard to get ready for the million. But then also I think, I mean, it just shows it at all these big money races. Like when he could start, he starts third row all the time at Kings Royal and stuff in the heat races and drives to win them. Where if you put him on the third row at a normal outlaw show at Eldora, he's probably not going to take the risk that it takes to win it. And
exactly,
I think he's just so good at passing at that place and all of that I think I didn't like seeing Donnie be so fast this weekend because he's dangerous. He's so good and he's he's already a multi-millionaire. So
great in the big moments.
I don't think money is going to affect him like it's going to affect a lot of the field. I think a lot of the field's nerves before the feature is going to be high. I know, when I first used to start running the All-Star race, it was a different feeling. And that's before I had any money. So once you earn some money, I think you lose a little bit of that, anxiety and stuff. So I think he would be more prepared for the moment than a lot of the field. And he's just, he's so good. So I think Donnie, but Rico is really impressive too. And Eldora is probably one of his best tracks. So I think those two are definitely the favorites. Logan looked extremely good the first night. I thought the main event, when I watched the highlights, I was surprised at how Rico and Donnie and Brad were kind of able to stay within reach the whole time. Because I thought from what I saw the whole night leading up to the A, I was like, man, he's going to dominate. So yes, he won, but I thought he was just going to check out in the future.
Cool.
I do think his track will be different without non-wing cars too. So there'll be some different factors for sure. But they really haven't even announced the format yet either. So we really don't know what.
If it's anything like the late model million, I think it's basically the exact same format as Kings Royal or Kings Royal, which is the same format as the World or the Dream.
I think they're gonna run. We're gonna run a prelim and like twin A mains or something the night before. So I don't know if it's gonna be the same.
Then it's like the World, then it's like the World.
They haven't announced anything officially, so I guess we're all gonna wait and see.
Yep, a lot of racing to be done.
Eldora's got crazy formats, so it'll be on paper it's gonna look dumb, but it's gonna be exciting no matter what. That's what's cool about the big
$1 million.
Eldora.
$1 million. That's it. Doesn't matter what the format is. Like someone's gonna show up there and be on their game and win $1 million.
The cream's always gonna rise to the top too, no matter what the format is.
Yep, I agree.
Yep, that'll be fun. That's later on this summer. And, of course, you can catch it right here on FloRacing. All right, a couple other things. Brad, I know we got to get you out of here soon, but just a couple things. Silly season alive and well right now in the sprint car world. Couple big names that are kind of going to be movers and shakers here. Parker Price Miller out of the McCandless 29, but the big one is Buddy Kofoid out of the Crouch Motorsports number 11 car. So, and either of you can chime in on this. Where is he going and who's filling the seat of the 11 car? What do you think?
I mean, I don't really have a idea or strong opinion. I've heard just a light rumor that maybe like Corey Eliason might go to the 11. I haven't heard where Buddy's going at all. I think it's, unfortunate. I thought they were off to a great start. So, young Buddy's young and very talented. So, I'm sure he'll find his feet. And I think that 11 car is a great car with, a lot of potential. So I think they'll both be fine. I just, you got to wonder why such a great combination. It seemed like from the outside, is doing something different.
Yeah. I mean, Brad, like what's that like as a young guy, right? You have this great opportunity, to travel and be a national professional sprint car racer, right? And something goes wrong. So how do you feel that as a veteran guy giving advice to a younger guy?
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of their story. I can just speak on some of the things that I've experienced. I just think there's personality traits when you're coming up through. It's hard, it's intense. I think everybody's striving, and I think I've dealt with a lot of different crew chief personalities, and it's sometimes it gets to where it's not that fun. And I don't know if that's the case is that Buddy and his crew chief or something else was the matter. But just reading between the lines, it seemed like there was just a little bit of rift in between the whole team. And yeah, I mean, I think they'll both be fine. I think Buddy's young enough and talented enough that, there's going to be teams that are going to want that talent behind the wheel.
Yep. We'll see where they end up, and imagine we'll have an answer here before too long. So High Limit Series, busy month of May for us here. Of course, it's supposed to be in action at Kokomo at the beginning of the month. That's been rescheduled to August the 1st. So a nice kind of lead into Knoxville week and everything else that's kind of going on out there. So again, that's August the 1st on a Tuesday. Wayne County is up next, May the 16th. We were supposed to, of course, run there last year, got rained out. Sheldon Hodenshields Buckeye Brawl back again this year, $32,023 to win. Sheldon is racing, we understand. He won his first All-Star race there, won in a barn burner in 2020 in the Outlaws that, Brad, you were a part of. Is he the favorite to win there next week? Is Sheldon the guy at home to defend his home turf?
If I'm an odds maker, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Kyle's, really good at that track too. I think Rico's good at that track, but Sheldon, there's nothing like home. A guy that's at home in his car. He'll be definitely looking to impress the hometown crowd. So I look for it to be fun to watch. That track puts on some great racing, and it's kind of like Tulare at home. So you can definitely get right up on the wall, and Sheldon's definitely not scared of that. So neither is Kyle. Obviously, some of the other guys that we have on the High Limit Tour will make it fun, but I think Sheldon would be the favorite in my opinion.
Yeah, Kyle, you won there in 2021, right after the All-Star race, right? Speaking of $1 million races, what's unique about that place? What do you enjoy about it?
Yeah, I love Wayne County. It's like Brad mentioned, it's kind of like a Midwest version of Tulare. It's just long straightaways, fast, aggressive. We rained out there last year, so I wasn't able to go last year, but it looked like they added a lot of banking to 3 and 4. So I think both of the corners now should be more intense. Where 1 and 2 before was always just an awesome corner. The higher you can get, kind of the faster you go. Where now it kind of looks like 3 and 4 is a little bit maybe going to be that way. So yeah, we'll see. It's a tough track. You got to qualify good, start up front. It's a tough place to see, just like every Ohio track. So the further forward you can start, the better opportunity you give yourself to stay up front, just because your vision's better. So yeah, I look forward to it. Sheldon's going to be really hard there. I'm not sure if I've really raced with Sheldon much there. I guess maybe early on in my career at a Ohio Speedway race or something, but when you think of Sheldon Hanschild, that's like the track that would suit him the best. So should be fun. Glad to have him a part of the promotion too. I think the place is going to be packed. The pit area is going to be packed. And it's going to be awesome racing. So I really look forward to it.
Yeah, we had a great field there. I think like close to 50 last year before it before it rained out. So hopefully get that and a little bit more. And again, that's next week, Tuesday, May the 16th, $32,023 to win at the Wayne County Speedway in Ohio. And if you can't be there, you can watch it right here on Flo. Yes, Brad.
Yeah, don't forget, we did a deal where you can buy your ticket and you get a free pit pass upgrade. So if you buy your ticket on Ticket Hoss for Wayne County, you get to come in the pits also and meet, Sheldon, Kyle, and all the guys. So that's kind of cool.
Brad will be around too.
I'll be around.
Track prep guy.
Whatever you need me to do, bud. I'm here. I'm here for the show. So no, I think it's cool though. I think it'll be a great event for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun, and then of course we end the month at the Tri-City Speedway in Granite City, Illinois, on Wednesday, May the 31st. A lot of racing down there that week between us, the late models, midgets, and then of course NASCAR's in action at the big track all weekend. So hope to see you guys at least one of these next couple here around the Midwest. All right, last thing, hold 'em or fold 'em. We did it last show. I'm going to supply these ideas, I guess, since we brought a few to the table. We're folding the North Wilkesboro late model race because it's on the same night as the high limit race at Wayne County. They're both on Flo. Scheduling disaster. Nobody's going to watch North Wilkesboro because everybody's watching Wayne County. Book it right now. You good with that? We're folding it. We're done.
Absolutely.
I was going to piss off all the NASCAR
I don't think
fans.
it makes a difference. I don't think it makes a difference, but I think more people. I think we'll look at ratings and it'll probably be better for us than them.
I think so too. Last thing, we're holding the dice roll, but we want fan advice, okay? So that people watching this, I guess, tweet at us, tweet at the High Limit page, tweet at Kyle, Brad, Flo, me, I don't really care. Tweet at somebody. How do we mix this dice roll up to make it more enticing for these guys to take it? Brad, what do you think?
We need better ideas. We need better ideas than fans just saying, "Oh, we'll double the money." Because
I think we should give them a few options of like what we're thinking, because obviously, the competition might be a little steep. So, guys are not willing to take the risk to move back to, the risk of, 8th, 9th, 10th, for the extra money. They're already racing for a big purse. So they don't want to take the risk. So I think we have kind of two options we've been kicking around. Like if they don't take the first option, and they say they rolled like a 7 or 8, we could give the 7th, 8th place guy, whatever the number is, an opportunity to race for instead of $1,000 per position. We could give them half the money if they win from that position, or we could pick the dice up, give them back to the guy that's on the pole, and say, okay, roll 1 dice, and that's the amount of money that whatever that dice rolls would be the amount of money you're going for, and then you roll the second dice, and that's the position.
Well, I would say they have to then decide after they roll that first dice.
Yes.
If they're like, if it's $1,000 or whatever, they roll 1, they might be like, screw it, I don't want to roll. But if they roll a 6, then they can now decide for the next dice.
And it's only 1 dice, so like the worst, they're going to start 6. So if the money is $6,000 and then they roll a 1, they're just literally going for an extra $6,000 from the pole, which, So we want to incentivize, the extra story and, pay a little extra money if we can. But we think maybe the first option that we came up with is, maybe a little too tricky for these guys. So we need Kyle to start on the pole, because then he absolutely has to take it. There's no option. Yeah. Like pretty much doesn't matter. I mean, we're going to basically pull the weighted dice out, roll the 12 and say, okay, like here we go. But yeah, I just think we want the fans to chime in here and give us some advice of what they think will create the excitement that we all want to see.
Look at how generous these guys are. They're just trying to give money away here. I mean,
exactly.
Just can't beat them.
23,000 ain't enough. 32,000 ain't enough. 50,000 ain't enough. So
bring it.
Greedy racers.
Roll the dice and make some more money. Let's go.
Boom. All right. Well, chime in on that, folks. Let us know what you think, and we'll consider it. Maybe we won't if it's a bad idea, but stay tuned. Change is probably coming to that one way or the other. All right, boys. Thank you. Brad, be safe in your travels, wherever you guys are going. Kyle, enjoy. It looks like a beautiful day there where you're at. Enjoy that. And so we'll see you guys at Wayne County, May the 16th.
Yep. May the 16th. We'll see you there. Thank you. Yep. Cheers.